Our first lecture on global aging gave us an overview of the issue across the entire world. This second lecture will focus on the developing world. At the end of this lecture, you will be able to describe the current age distribution of populations in the developing world and trends in population aging in that region, and discuss the implications for the future. Between this lecture and next lecture, we will compare this to developed regions. This graph from the World Health Organization shows the size of the population over 60 and the percentage of people over 60 in each country across the globe. So the size of the circle represents the absolute size of the population over 60, or 60 and over I should say, and how high up it is on the graph represents what percentage of the total population of that country this group, the 60 and over group, represents. So as you can see, as expected, the highest income countries have the highest percentage of people 60 and over. But look very carefully lower down and you will see that middle income countries such as China and India, as well as other countries like Vietnam, have populations over 60 that are in absolute terms much larger than the populations 60 and over in places like Italy, Germany, Japan, for example. How did we get here? Well, we need to think about what drives aging. So the first thing is that the rate of aging in the developing world is far greater than the rate of aging in the developed world. The best way to think about this is that the developed world has already aged and therefore its rate of aging is slowing down, whereas the developing world is going from being a young population to being an old population. And because of the influence of things like affluence and better healthcare, this is happening fairly fast. So let's look at the three things that we discussed, that we introduced as causes of aging in the first lecture. Fertility rates. So remember, we said a drop in fertility rate increases the mean population age by decreasing the percentage of people in the younger age group. Fertility rates are still high in the developing world. However, they are falling and falling rapidly. And this rapid fall in fertility rates corresponds with a fairly fast rise in mean age in these populations as the percentage of people in the youngest age groups is falling. The second real driver of aging in the developing world is emigration. What tends to happen in the developing world is young people, after they get educated, so young adults, tend to leave for developed countries. And what this causes is a net loss of young adults. But think about this, those young adults are the ones who will be having children, and therefore these developing countries are not only losing their young adult workforce, they are also losing their next generation, the children of those young adults. And finally, we need to think about life expectancy, which is relatively low in most developing countries, but climbing and climbing fast. And again, this is mostly because more people are living to 60 and beyond, therefore increasing that percentage of the population. This is just a comparison of the developed and developing world. So compared to the developing world, fertility rates in the developed world are low but still falling, which is a real concern. In the developed world, as opposed to the developing world, life expectancy is high, and individual life expectancy is now getting even higher. So individuals are living for much longer, which has a different implication from just more people being 60 and over. In the developing world, as we described, there's net emigration of young adults, which increases the net population age, whereas in the developed world, there's net immigration of those same young adults from the developing world. And actually, the effect of that is to decrease population, the rate of population aging. So that was a very brief look at aging in the developing world. If you have any questions, you can post it on our WhatsApp group or post it in the discussion section of the website. In summary, the developing world is aging rapidly and actually aging quicker than the developed world. And this is due to falling fertility rates, rising life expectancy, and the net emigration, particularly of young adults. Again, we have to consider the opportunities this provides, which are both economic and social, but only if properly planned.